Alright, so after a year after the controversy subsided, Cinematic Venom would have a falling out with the Change the Channel movement and release another documentary called The Downfall of Change the Channel. Now, Venom's connection to this entire movement was expanded towards three people: Holly Brown, E-Rod, and his wife, Marsha Kent Rodriguez. Now, E-Rod is the internet moniker of Eric Rodriguez, another former Channel Awesome contributor who I've never heard of until this controversy happened and he long left the site. I'm not even going to bother looking up what he reviewed because it honestly doesn't matter. This dude was brought onto the site at the tail end of its life, and he wasn't there long enough to make any kind of impression, so who cares? Now, disclaimer. His wife, Marsha Kent Rodriguez, would sadly pass away on January 23rd of 2022 due to complications with COVID. So, to avoid speaking ill of the dead, I am going to be as neutral as I possibly can when discussing incidents with her. But you did make it easy for me. Anyway, let's see what happened.
These people have shown a mockery of mental health, complete disregard for people in dire need of psychological help, disgusting, discriminatory and bigoted behaviour, and a total hypocritical view filled with double standards based on their own grievances towards other individuals. Also, I previously received abuse for showing screenshots of private conversations.
Yep, there it is, the dreaded A word, abuse. You people think anything slightly negative is abuse. Like seriously, what is abusive about this sentence? I mean, yes, it is hypocritical for them to tell you not to show private messages, but abusive? Anyway, Cinematic Venom and E-Rod's wife would meet when she noticed Cinematic Venom making a response video to her husband's review of Batman Forever. She would post an angry comment and he would apologize, and then they ended up being friends. And he eventually befriended E-Rod himself, who provided a video cameo appearance as thanks for a cash donation. Venom talks about how much his documentary exploded into popularity and how he was getting so much attention and his channel was getting so many views through it, and he milked it for everything that he could.
When the documentary dropped, it gained the attention of a lot of people formerly associated with Channel Awesome. Mars Girl, Obscurus Looper, and Holly tweeted about it, as did Suede, who had some fears of the documentary's existence. Marsha had informed me about her and E-Rod watching it. Linkara referenced it in passing and E-Rod confirmed he saw it. I was emailed by I and Liz. Kyle Corcoran was asked about it. Brad mentioned the backlash he was getting because of it. I was invited on Toon Grin's podcast. I never imagined this much attention. Bear in mind that I've been doing this for 12 years at this point, and this is what I'd always wanted. Many times I would act disingenuous or just not be entirely myself because I didn't want this to end. In the documentary, I apologise for the previously mentioned homophobic slur, but I don't think I should have. I literally did this because I just wanted to make myself look better. I didn't want to be lumped into the same pile of negativity as Channel Awesome.
Okay. So, you only apologize for something to make yourself look good, not because you were actually sorry. And that somehow makes you a better person than Channel Awesome. Stellar logic there, my man.
If you look at the whole context of that joke, it was clear that it wasn't a homophobic jab. Allison has constantly said context matters, but for this, for some reason, people still seem to ignore the context. It was just a joke and nothing more. I explained the difference in my diss track.
Okay, we get it.
Nope.
I even explained the intent in the documentary. Although I intended it to mean
your point's
that the
been made,
character was
Venom.
a
Can we
wimp,
please move on to change the
gay,
channel now?
There's a huge difference between a gay joke and going up to a random homosexual and calling them the F word. Danny, aka the Cinematic Mind, is gay and is one of my best friends, and if I was such a homophobe, why would I portray a gay character and acted out a gay scene with him in his bed? And in one of the bloopers, I even pretend to try to get him to go down on me. I had a gay friend called Hayden. I pretend to go down on him.
Okay, no, dude, stop. I don't care about your lame jokes. Please move on to change the channel, okay? Anyway, E-Rod and Cinematic Venom would become friendly with one another and would message each other quite a bit. After his documentary dropped, E-Rod sent Rob one of the most pathetic messages I've ever heard.
People don't seem to understand that I didn't receive this information in small increments. I learned everything in this documentary during a 2-hour conversation with Linkara. Every word was like cold bullets to my sternum. 6 years of my life were dedicated to Channel Awesome. 6 years of defending them, promoting them, sacrificing for them, and then in the span of 2 hours, I found out that it was all for nothing. That I was feeding a ravenous beast that was never going to show me affection. These were people I dedicated the last 6 years of my life to. Abusers, opportunists, and cowards. I felt sick for days, like I wanted to throw up but there was nothing in my stomach. I wanted to lash out and put together a video very similar to yours, but I was advised repeatedly not to as it would come across as biased, and I could potentially expose victims that would like to remain anonymous.
And yet here you are praising a heavily biased documentary.
I've done my best to step back and let Doug and Mike destroy themselves.
Doug and Mike don't care. They moved on from this a long time ago.
But I can't help but entertain the desire to lash out and expedite the process.
What he means is, I can't help but use the Channel Awesome movement as an excuse excuse to get more attention for myself in the hopes that people will finally notice me.
All those thoughts have been eating away at my soul for a year, and then came your video. Thank you for this, Rob. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. We needed this. The fans needed this. The world needed this.
Oh yes, the world needed this, Rob. The world needed to know that Lupa didn't get Applebee's one time, and that we didn't get to use mid-rolls, and they kept mistitling our videos, and we didn't get free trips to conventions, and Doug doesn't like anime, and he had trouble recording a commentary for a video, and Channel Awesome Management didn't throw us a party for a movie we all apparently hated making. All the abuse was too much to handle. The egos of these people is insane. They greatly overestimate how much of an impact they actually have on anything.
In this day of age of easily accessible media, the current generation doesn't have the time to read.
Well, sorry, but my generation has actual lives. We don't have the time to waste them scouring 70 pages of a bunch of privileged idiots whining about being mistreated at their free internet jobs that they didn't sign contracts for.
Let alone understand a Google document.
Honestly, I read through the document myself. I still don't understand it.
Videos are the language of today, so why didn't you all make a video in the first place then? So again, thank you for articulating all this information in a way that all the viewers could understand, because they need to know just who they've been supporting, who they've been feeding, and that the beast will never return their affection.
Oh my god, why are these people so damn dramatic? You're a bunch of nerds that posted videos on a website, not Holocaust survivors. Christ, do these people really not have anything interesting going on in their lives? They decided to dedicate so much time to this nonsense? Anyway, the dude begged everybody to go watch Venom's video.
Yesterday, Rob Bohr of Cinematic Venom released a comprehensive and detailed documentary about the Change the Channel movement. You need to go watch that video now. I have asked all of you, my fans, my viewers, in the past to do things before, donate, help out. I've never begged. For the first time ever in my internet video production career, I am begging you to do something for your own good.
For my own good? Homie, what have you done for me? Then Venom would be contacted by former Channel Awesome contributor Mike Jebbins, encouraging him to capitalize on his newfound internet fame.
That's right, I was actually advised to do this by former Channel Awesome producer Mike Jebbins.
And if Mike Jebbins told you to jump off Big Ben without a parachute, would you just do that too? Rob and E-Rod would continue to message each other, and it seemed that the two were cordial with one another. Then, apparently, somebody messaged Holly Brown about Cinematic Venom's sketchy past. Back in the day, he used to make racist and sexist jokes.
Holly, Kaylin, and I believe a few other former Channel Awesome contributors were sent a bunch of information about me and my past. Because apparently when you're a public entertainer, you're supposed to have made absolutely zero mistakes as a human being and to be completely squeaky clean.
But unfortunately, at this point, Venom proceeds to derail his video that's supposed to be about Change the Channel to try to defend himself against socio-political issues that nobody asked or cares about. Like here, where he tries to defend himself against rape jokes that he made about Tamra Chambers.
First off, he admitted to making rape jokes about Tamra. But this was another thing that I said sorry over, but I don't think I should have. The thing is, they're jokes.
But all it is just him name-dropping funnier, more successful comedians than him making actual jokes rather than saying, Tamra deserves to be raped. And then he talks about transgenderism and how Ben Shapiro made him agree with it being a mental illness.
I didn't tweet about this, nor did I make a video. I was asked on Curious Cat, do you believe transgender is a mental illness? And I said yes. That was it, because I was ignorant and knew nothing about it. My partner knows transgender people, and I now know a lot more about them. Of course it's not a mental illness. And I can't even begin to comprehend the pain they have to go through, not only from the
okay, this has nothing to do with Change the Channel, dude.
I think there's a misconception. I'm personally against abortion, yes, but I do not judge those who do it. I also don't think it should be illegal. I've not judged or attacked anyone for aborting a child.
And now he's talking about abortion. What is going on? Then he starts talking about how he lets his own girlfriend run his relationship and boss him around to prove to a bunch of random strangers that he's not a misogynist. I really wish I was making that up.
I actually prepare the meals before she gets home from work. I'm the bitch. Now that'll be used against me? Sexist term. I will happily admit, she runs this relationship. I'm awful with money, so she handles my finances. I literally have to ask permission to spend any money. Congratulations, I have now outed myself as a pussy and had to expose my personal life to prove you wrong about your lies. Would a misogynist let the woman run things in the relationship? Yes, I make sexist jokes, but that doesn't automatically make me a sexist.
Dude, we didn't need to know this. This is way too much information, okay? I know you're upset and angry that these people turned on you, but how did you think that emasculating yourself and showing private messages of begging your own girlfriend to spend money and bossing you around would make you look good in any way? So after Cinematic Venom admits that he's a cuck and proud of it, he then shows himself talking to other producers about sharing the ad revenue that he makes off his documentary with them because, in his own words, it's not right for me to make money off the pain that you all went through.
So a lot of people think I did the doc for the money. This isn't true. It was actually claimed for the music, so I've not made a penny. However, I'm appealing it. Just wanted you to know, if it gets cleared, I want to give the ad revenue I make from it to the former Channel Awesome producers and split it between you all. I wouldn't feel right making money off of the pain you all went through, and you all deserve it more.
Which is stupid, because by that logic, you'd also have to donate all of the ad revenue that you made from all of your sketches mocking Channel Awesome to them too, right? Anyway, many of the producers told them not to do that. And the anonymous tip about Cinematic Venom's questionable past was sent to Holly Christine Brown, who would confront Cinematic Venom and demand apologies from him like she's some kind of moral gatekeeper.
Holly confronted me immediately and I pled my case. I explained myself to Holly, she accepted my apologies, and all was good. I'm a firm believer that people can change and be better than they were. You've made apologies and that goes a long way in my book. I'd be a hypocrite and change the channel would be pointless if I didn't accept that people can grow and learn and change and become better people.
Lady, you literally gave up on Change the Channel after a year when it was clear that Channel Awesome wasn't going to apologize to you. You clearly don't believe in this message that you're trying to push here. You're just purity testing people and morally grandstanding to make yourself seem like a bigger deal than you actually are. But yeah, Cinematic Venom had to personally apologize to Holly just to be considered a good enough person to be involved in their movement. That should have been a red flag right there. Like, dude, you're not entitled to explain anything to these people or apologize to them for things that you did in the past. Your past is none of their business. You made a documentary and they liked it. That should be enough for them. Holly doesn't have any power. She has no jurisdiction or authority over anyone. She's just some chick that got fired from a company and got upset about it. Why does she even care about things that Venom did in the past? I mean, if everything in the document was true, how would Venom's past invalidate his documentary or make what people went through at Channel Awesome any different? But whatever, Venom fed into the nonsense and apologized to her despite having no obligation to, and sort of unofficially earned his position as a Change the Channel ambassador. He would continue to make videos mocking Channel Awesome and their fans, which the former producers would continue to laugh at and share, further inflating his ego. It's at this point where a friend of Brad Jones by the name of Ryan Mitchellly would contact Venom to discuss the possibility of making another documentary about the controversy where the ex-Channel Awesome producers and current Channel Awesome management would have a sit-down to talk out their differences in a big Zoom call-like meeting.
Which was the entire point of Change the Channel to begin with. The entire point was to get Channel Awesome to listen.
Right, the entire point of Change the Channel was to get Channel Awesome to listen to us, which is why I made a documentary siding with the producers over them and never even tried to get their side of the story.
I made the Channel Awesome documentary as an outsider, and despite many times denying it, it was clearly biased. I made absolutely no attempt to contact anyone at Channel Awesome before making the documentary,
and I constantly mocked them and called them unfunny.
And this has nothing to do with the fact that they actually haven't been funny in years.
I'm not having us as the X-Men!
Why'd you have us in the intro?
I just told the animator to draw something cool!
And it has nothing to do with the fact that they constantly insult anyone who disagrees with their opinions.
This movie sucked! It sucked! This movie fucking sucked!
And I compared them to Hitler and Bill Cosby.
They can't be sexist because they've worked with other women who've had no problems whatsoever. Hitler couldn't have been an arsehole because he had thousands working with him. Do you still watch Bill Cosby comedy specials? Why is Channel Awesome any different?
And I told people to stop watching their videos and unsubscribe and stop supporting them.
You deserve to lose your subs, you ain't even trying.
And I insulted their employees on Twitter. And I insulted and mocked Brad Jones and made fun of him losing subscribers online. And I made rape jokes about one of their female workers.
He admitted to making rape jokes about Tamara. But this was another thing that I said sorry over, but I don't think I should have. The thing is, they're jokes.
And I wrote diss tracks and mocked their mental health issues.
Because you blast me publicly like a nasty knob, and then say sorry, it's my depression's fault. Well, you just made mine worse, so I guess I can't hold.
Nope.
And if this fitting song you find offensive, sorry, can't help it, it's my depression.
And I called Doug Walker a faggot.
B-Rabbit, perfectly wrapped it. Tyler Oakley's gay, Doug Walker's a faggot.
Yeah, that'll totally get them to listen to you. Anyway, Venom deluded himself into thinking that he was this paragon of virtue and took it upon himself to reach out to former producers to see if they would be willing to talk things out with Channel Awesome, and surprisingly, a lot of them were up to it.
I relayed this message. Full Fantastic agreed to the call, Mars Girl agreed, Holly wanted a public apology first, which is understandable, but according to Kaylin, later warmed up to the idea, Mike seemed down.
Now, I'm not exactly sure what this talk would have accomplished or what else needs to be talked about. I mean, if you look closely at the chat Venom sent these people, he says he wants to have a civilized discussion about what's happened over the years and find a middle ground and move on. What does that mean, find a middle ground? People were not happy on the site, so they left the site. What more needs to be done here? Unfortunately, this whole thing was shot down by E-Rod of all people. You see, Venom would reach out to E-Rod and ask him if he was down for this talk, only for E-Rod to turn on Rob for no reason.
Rob, stop talking to me like we're friends. I appreciate what you've done, and I've tried to be professional, but these messages to me and my affiliates have to stop. You weren't there. You didn't experience what we experienced. So no more private messages or I will block you and delete my endorsement video.
So what happened here? Why does he suddenly not want to talk to him anymore? I mean, how did the guy go from, "Oh, Rob, thank you from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, I love you, the world needed this," to, "Ew, stop talking to me, you're not my friend, creep"? I mean, according to Venom, it's because he messaged E-Rod too much.
I got carried away. I messaged him, I guess, too much. I was getting too involved.
My question is, who the hell does this guy think he is? Everything he's mad at Venom for can be applied to him. He was never there for any of the anniversary films. Nothing ever happened to him at all. All of his friends like Venom and expressed no problems with him. He wasn't abused. He experienced no trauma at all. And we know this because he said so.
I don't have any traumatic stories or incidents to reveal here. While my experience with Channel Awesome hasn't always been perfect, I never experienced any kind of abuse or any kind of trauma.
So what are you even talking about? I'm sorry, I just gotta stop for a second because this dude, man, E-Rod, his grievances, well, they use quotes, grievances with this company were downright laughably pathetic. While most people in the document tried, and failed, but at least tried to come off as professional, E-Rod's issues were all about desperately trying to prove how bad Doug Walker was at literally everything. Case in point, check out this tweet where he berates Doug for not liking an episode of Animaniacs. Like, I'm not even joking. Lupa says Doug doesn't know anything about storytelling, and E-Rod then chimes in to whine about how Doug doesn't like an episode of a cartoon. Totally a serious issue worth talking about. Yeah, of course. Or how about this story where he regales the denizens of Twitter of Doug's insurmountable betrayal to him, and that's Doug didn't give him his phone number. Yeah, Doug's a bad person because he didn't trust him. That's his grievance. He's mad because Doug didn't give somebody he barely knows his personal phone number. Oh, look here. Here he has a craft services table at one of his video shoots, and that somehow makes him a better filmmaker than Doug. Even though Doug paid for everybody's flight tickets and lodging, and it was proven that the craft services complaint in the document was a lie, as he took them out to eat all the time, so his anger here makes no sense. But the most well-known complaint of them all is E-Rod whining about how Doug Walker didn't write his magic hammer into the canceled Channel Awesome 5th anniversary script. Seriously, this guy has a magical hammer that his character uses to destroy bad movies in his videos or something. And seriously, this is a movement that is accusing a company of committing crimes like fraud and sexual assault, and this fool wants to complain about how Doug didn't write his superpowers into a low-budget internet movie. Is this guy 12 years old? I mean, dude, a magic hammer isn't even an original concept. The ancient Norsemen already beat you to that by several thousand years. And it's not even cool looking either, it's just a regular hammer that you can buy at Home Depot. I mean, you couldn't have at least made it look cool, like paint it or carve some runes on it or make it look unique in some way. No, just a regular hammer from Home Depot and just added some crappy CGI lightning and After Effects and we'll just call it a day, right? But that is not even the best grievance, no. The best grievance is this. So I'm walking with Doug and some of his friends, and we walk past the Hooters, and an idiotic conversation begins about what the reverse gender equivalent of Hooters would be like. The conversation was so sophomoric and so vulgar, I opted not to be a part of it. Inevitably, it all boils down to what this fictional Hooters for women would be called. All of Doug's suggestions were very basic, unfunny, and uncreative, but he kept making suggestions as if he was delivering one brilliant punchline after the other, when in truth, only he and Rob were laughing. I stayed quiet and ignored them. It took every bit of my willpower not to shout at the top of my lungs, "Cocks, you idiot! Cocks! The reverse gender Hooters would be called Cocks, and it would have a rooster on the logo instead of an owl." You know, normally this is the point where I would just go ahead and make a snarky comment about how incredibly stupid and attention-seeking and pathetic this entire thread is, but I don't think I need to. After all, if you think something is stupid, don't add to the noise. The idiot doesn't need your help to look stupid. He can do that on his own just fine. So yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, E-Rod is a complete moron. He has no reason to be on the warpath with Channel Awesome at all. He's got nothing to whine about. This dude just wanted attention. He was largely ignored during his time at Channel Awesome because he wasn't that interesting. He was just another generic internet reviewer leeching off the nostalgia critic. Nothing about this guy stood out. But now that everybody on the side is left and he's against Doug, he saw this as a golden opportunity to be a part of something. Now the former talent are finally paying him the attention that he so desperately craved, and now he has to keep up this ridiculous notion that he was somehow mistreated by Channel Awesome just to continue currying that favor, even though he clearly said that nothing bad happened to him. It's just astounding to me that so many people want to call out Cinematic Venom for butting into something that he had no business being a part of, but they completely ignore E-Rod doing the same thing. I mean, I guess E-Rod gets a free pass just because he was a Channel Awesome producer? This guy is nothing but an attention whore. He's every bit the clout chaser Rob was. I mean, this dude literally took time off work, and called in sick because Venom's documentary made him so emotional.
Wow, oh my god, told you your doc had an impact. He had to call out of work due to no sleep. He has to be up at 2 AM but woke up at midnight telling me he couldn't sleep because he was thinking about the video. I advised he call out and he did.
Yes, this dude missed a day of work because a YouTube video covering events that didn't personally affect him in any way made him cry. What an absolute buffoon. He has no right to call Venom out for butting into anything. This dude even had the nerve to say it's insulting that Venom is acting as though he's a part of this controversy. Well, bro, he's got more of a right to be a part of this than you. He's actually doing something. Like, what are you doing for this movement, aside from bitching online and making up nonsense stories about Doug and magic hammers? And weren't you the one who fed into Venom's ego, typing this giant wall of text thanking him for making this documentary and how much it meant to you, and that the world needed to know how evil Channel Awesome were?
Rob Bohr of Cinematic Venom released a comprehensive and detailed documentary about the Change the Channel movement. You need to go watch that video now. I am begging you to do something for your own good.
But now you're upset because you feel Venom thinks he's a bigger deal than he is.
I feel stupid.
I honestly don't even know why Venom even reached out to this idiot in the first place to talk to the Channel Awesome higher-ups about anything, because Channel Awesome literally did nothing to him, but whatever. E-Rod now hates Venom for some reason. He tells Venom not to contact him or his affiliates privately anymore, to which Venom ignores and does anyway, apologizing to E-Rod for butting in. E-Rod responds by deleting his endorsement video and blocking Rob, leading Rob to reach out to other producers asking what this guy's deal was, and not even they could come up with an answer.
He basically said we're not friends. I should stop messaging his affiliates and pretending I was there for the Channel Awesome stuff, which I don't think I did. No, you made it very clear you were just a fan. Feel free to tell me if I overstepped the mark with any of my Channel Awesome videos. I'm just baffled. I mean, no, I wouldn't say so. I don't know how much or to what extent you two spoke, but he possibly got overwhelmed with it all and it was the easy way out. Weird, yeah, I don't know. There it is, deleted his endorsement video and blocked me. I'm sorry that happened. I don't know, man, I'm sorry. I feel like E-Rod, like, he's a well-meaning guy, but kind of says a lot of things I wouldn't say. I'm sorry, I don't know why this happened. Looking back at my messages with them, Allison didn't seem to understand what exactly had made E-Rod so upset.
Not even his wife knew what the problem was.
E-Rod sent me quite a nasty message, removed his video and blocked me. I'm not angry, but I am quite upset, confused and hurt. I've spoken to some former Channel Awesome producers and they're clueless as to what he's talking about, so I don't know, but I deleted the Change the Channel Discord. And I guess it's best I stop promoting Change the Channel. I'm sorry, he hasn't said anything to me. I'd rather not unfriend you. It's pretty damn insulting that you act like you did, not to mention this whole Goodwill Ambassador act is in poor taste. What act? Me not liking abuse is an act.
Nah, he just wants attention and is mad that you're stealing it away from him.
Furthermore, if everything you went through was so bad, why are some of you still friends with Doug on Facebook? I don't know about you, but if someone abused me and my mates for a decade and allowed others to do it too, I wouldn't really want anything to do with them. What about right here when Marsha openly admits that she knows she's still friends with Doug?
Am I the only one who finds it a little creepy that Marsha just admitted to stalking Doug on Facebook in a desperate plea for his attention?
But we have spoke. He just didn't say anything. I think he's just about fed up with Change the Channel. Sorry he did that.
If he's fed up with Change the Channel, then maybe he shouldn't have jumped into it to begin with? I don't know. I think the only reason that he's fed up is because jumping into Change the Channel did nothing to further his career.
Look, I'm not going to justify his behavior.
Well, not yet anyway. Also, when you say that, it kind of implies that you know that your husband was wrong, but you're standing by it anyway. You know, just saying.
Polly has claimed on Reddit, just retweeting doesn't make you a friend, ignoring all the constant messaging for advice, which he initiated, discussing movies, emotional support, and accepting a friend invite.
That still doesn't make you friends, dog. Sorry. Venom should have ended all communications with E-Rod and his wife right there, but unfortunately, he didn't, because despite her husband's objections towards Venom, Marsha continued to keep talking to him for some reason. E-Rod would continue to go online and act like a passive-aggressive jerk to people about Change the Channel, despite not being personally affected by any trauma.
This is just depressing all around, really. Sorry our real-life pain ruined your day. We promise to only talk about bunnies and rainbows from now on.
I never experienced any kind of abuse or any kind of trauma.
Yeah, I'm sorry that this bad thing made you feel bad.
Like, what?
It's not a rumor anymore. The Black Widow movie is happening. Behold the first set photos. This has been a thing for a good couple years. I think they announced it shortly before Infinity War. No official announcement was ever made. Stop making shit up like you work for Marvel. Someone tweeted him about how Channel Awesome has an entire team and not just Doug. Oh wow, you actually work there and you know how everything works behind the scenes. That's incredible. I only worked with the company and knew these people for 6 years. Sorry I said anything. Thank God you showed up with your insider's knowledge to enlighten us all. But he had an issue with how Channel Awesome treated and spoke with people.
A funny thing is that he's actually lying here, because in this Twitter post he claimed that the only people who he ever spoke to when he was on the site were Doug and Linkara, and he only met the other producers until after Change the Channel happened. But no, now he knew these people for 6 years. Right.
As a person with no dog in this race, I really wish I had the ability to get feuding current/former Channel Awesome folks in a room to talk. Just talk, not text, talk. Put everything on the table and reason this out. Life is too short for BS. Gee, why didn't we think about that 10 years ago? Or all those times we were in a room together? Or during the 3 dozen incidents that have physically and psychologically damaged over 40 Channel Awesome producers. I guess we're just not as forward thinking as you.
Nothing Channel Awesome did physically or psychologically damaged anyone. That is absolute nonsense. You people were crazy before you joined the site. But that's actually a legitimate question. Like, why didn't you guys try to sit and talk to management when you had the chance? In fact, didn't you say that you wanted to have a conference call to talk things out with them?
I don't see why we couldn't all just sat down, have a conference call, and come to some kind of a compromise here.
But now you are objecting to a possible conference call. I mean, I guess you're right, E-Rod. You're not as forward-thinking as this person at all.
I feel it's stupid.
But as you pointed out, this has been going on for years. Isn't it time to bring it to a close and not via text or Twitter? That's all I'm saying. I appreciate you are optimism, but this is not going to end.
It literally ended a year ago, bro. So Venom made a video about this too. In his own words, show that there's fault on both sides.
In this video, I finally made public what E-Rod had done, and simply because it was relevant.
The only reason I'm bringing this up is to prove, 1, Change the Channel isn't flawless. It isn't perfect either. But 2, just because someone does a bad thing doesn't negate what the other person has done. E-Rod, in my opinion, has talked to people in an unacceptable way.
I guess in Venom's mind, he was trying to do damage control as the producers were complete idiots and ruining their own image, and the goodwill was starting to run out quickly. But in reality, all it did was make people go, well, shit, you guys are just as bad as Channel Awesome, so why should I support you now?
Furthermore, a Google document citing serious allegations about Channel Awesome's actions had ridiculously petty claims in it. For a document that details rape,
The document does not detail rape at all.
why is there a part about Doug not knowing how to record a Skype call? Why was that put in there, Allison? It wasn't relevant.
It's funny how he says that, because that was actually one of the many arguments that he originally defended.
But he had little to no knowledge of technology. He didn't even know how to record commentary, so he got other people to record them for him, with them sitting quietly to not actually take part.
This guy has millions of subs and I don't.
But now that Change the Channel have turned on him, it's suddenly stupid and petty. Like, dude, it was always stupid and petty. Holly Brown would reach out to him and tell him to stop talking about E-Rod since it hurt Marsha's feelings and it put her in the hospital. I'm not even joking, this woman worked herself into a panic attack and had to go to the hospital because Venom said E-Rod was rude to people online.
Hey, for everyone's sake, it would be best if you stopped talking about E-Rod. I understand your perspective and your feelings are valid, but having you talk about it really hurt Marsha. So yeah, Ron Bohr put me in the hospital. Well, I don't know who Ron Bohr is. And yeah, she specifically blames me for putting her in the hospital. It would have been one thing to mention it in passing, but it seemed to dominate what you were talking about. Kinda like how you all talked about Channel Awesome mistreating you. We're a family.
A family that I gave up on and have no interest in fighting for since Channel Awesome didn't apologize to me.
That means we have some members who can be harsh or have a sense of humor that doesn't come across well. But we still care about and for each other. I don't know E-Rod terribly well.
She says she barely knows the guy and she's still defending him and excusing his acting like a moron as a harsh sense of humor.
But I know not everything was great for him at Channel Awesome. He says otherwise.
I never experienced any kind of abuse or any kind of trauma.
For almost all of the time he was there, the only people who spoke with him were me and Lewis. You just said you didn't know him very well. Now you're one of the only 2 who spoke to him. Make up your mind. So this whole tirade of getting me to feel sorry for him doesn't work. Well, yeah, I'm done discussing the E-Rod situation. It was tricky, and the reason I kept it quiet for so long was because me and Marsha are quite close.
You know, I think it's kind of weird how you're still talking to this dude's wife even after he's made it clear he doesn't like you.
As I said in the video, we're a team and need to support each other.
How are you people a team? What goal are you working towards? I mean, if you're trying to get an apology from Channel Awesome, it's not going to happen. And nobody seems to be doing anything to drum up any legal representation or trying to take the case to court due to the many real crimes that you're accusing them of. And the whole sit-down idea doesn't seem to be going anywhere either, so what are we doing here? Honestly, if I were in charge of this Change the Channel nonsense, the smarter thing to do would probably have been to just cut E-Rod and his wife loose. Why did all of this hinge on his approval? E-Rod has nothing to contribute at all. Nothing. He is harming this thing far more than he's helping. In fact, people flat out stopped supporting the movement entirely because of his involvement.
Please stop with the E-Rod hate. People are actively leaving this group because of it.
Why are Change the Channel so supportive of this guy? He has the least to do with any of this drama. I mean, the only reason he's part of this is because he's just mad that he didn't get to be a part of the Channel Awesome 5th anniversary. That's pretty much all it is.
I get an email asking me if I want to be a part of the Channel Awesome 10th anniversary special.
But once the cast started dropping like flies, it was ultimately cancelled.
E-Rod was a huge Channel Awesome stan and lobbied so hard to be a part of the site. He's just mad because he never got to experience the site during his heyday and is using Change the Channel as an outlet for its anger. I mean, that's really all it is. But Cinematic Venom bends the knee and does as he's told like a good little boy, thus marking the end of Cinematic Venom and E-Rod's relationship, and the talk with Channel Awesome never happens. So congratulations, we've accomplished absolutely nothing. Months would go by and Venom wouldn't talk about E-Rod again despite being asked about it by his fans constantly. But he felt compelled to do it again after he saw E-Rod keep being mean to people on Twitter.
I said I'd stop talking about it, and I did for months, until E-Rod continued insulting other people.
Why? Dude, who cares about what the Blockbuster Buster thinks about anything? And then he calls out Marsha for some reason?
Once there was Person A who made a promise to Person B. Person B promised Person A that she'll still be his friend. But then Person A broke the promise, but Person B can't break her promise because to her, a promise means something. Moral, don't make promises you don't intend to keep. When I confronted her, she denied this tweet being about me, but this went up the very same day this all went down. I wasn't going to say anything because I was worried it would only make matters worse, but Eric has been getting a lot of abuse online from my doing. I'm sorry that you're upset, but I'm not going to apologize for reacting the way I have. I was treated horribly and so were others, so I stood up for myself and them. However, I'm sorry for the backlash, so I think it's just best I delete you both and move on. In regards to your tweet, I failed to see what promise I broke, but the tweet also ignored how he treated me and others. You left that bit out. Anyway, take care, and I'm sorry it led to this. That tweet was about my ex-friend Ross who stabbed me in the back last week. I don't know what I've done to upset you. Nothing. Your husband did. Not everything is about you, Marsha. I'm sorry that I have to be the one to break the news to you.
Well, dude, you kinda called her out and just assumed that she was talking about you based off of a random tweet she posted. Not everything is about you either. Once again, this is where he should have just taken his own advice and just cut ties with these people. It's clear at this point that none of them actually care about any of this anymore, but Venom continues to message Marsha for some reason. Things died down for a while, and then came PewDiePie. Wait, what?
It all started when, discussing Channel Awesome, I made a comparison between them and PewDiePie. The comparison was simple. When PewDiePie messed up, everyone instantly hated him without a second thought. However, when Channel Awesome messed up, people for some reason needed convincing. That was the very simple comparison. I was then bombarded with hateful tweets from angry PewDiePie haters.
So instead of just ignoring all of these random people who have nothing to do with Change the Channel, mind you, Venom in his infinite wisdom chose to feed into drama and argue with them for no reason.
This is what I mean when I say my opinion seems to mean the world to these people. Who even cares that I like PewDiePie?
Exactly, so why are you wasting your time with these people at all? But whatever, PewDiePie said the N-word on one of his streams and was labeled racist by a vocal minority of people.
What a fucking
He also made Jewish jokes and was labeled anti-Semitic. Venom would defend the anti-Semitic jokes because he has edgy humor and a bunch of angry Twitter people would call him racist. And now he has to defend himself and say he's not racist because he has black friends, and then plays a montage of a bunch of actors and comedians saying the N-word.
iDubbbz.
to hold the word Nick.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Now, why would he want to read a book about a four-eyed Nick?
Tyler Cassidy. Give a Nick. Vince McMahon.
Keep it up.
Jonathan Ross.
You're a black person, but you don't like Nick.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Bang bang, skeet skeet, Nick.
The voice actors of South Park.
And that proves that he's not racist somehow.
If you are a white person, saying the N-word, it is racist. Always, in every context. If you defend systematic racism, you're a racist too. You're both racists. Learn something about actual racism and how it functions, then come back. And this is when I use Blazing Saddles as an example. If a white person is racist for saying the N-word in any context, because that's what you said, then Mel Brooks and every white person in that movie...
Stop. What are we talking about here? We're getting off topic. We get it, you're not a racist. What does any of this have to do with Change the Channel?
You sure as shit defended Felix's anti-Semitism. Yes, I did. I didn't defend the N-bomb. I never denied defending the anti-Semitism.
Who are these people? Like, this is the video called The Downfall of Change the Channel. Now you're just wasting time whining about PewDiePie and things that a bunch of random strangers said about you. This part of the video just drags on and on too. It's like 20 minutes non-stop, Venom defending himself against racism and anti-Semitism, and dude, no one cares. Alright, I don't care. Skip. Anyway, this pointless argument would sour his relationship with the core Change the Channel team as they all dove headfirst into wokeness. Holly would eventually distance herself from Venom, and out of desperation, Venom would message Holly apologizing to her once again, trying to explain that he's not racist.
Hey Holly, you don't need to reply to this. Just wanted to message a few things. Firstly, I've deleted the tweets. There's really no way to convince you other than just assuring you, no, I'm not a racist. People were taking my words out of context and it was only getting uglier, so I removed them all. Secondly, I wasn't defending PewDiePie for dropping the N-bomb. People seem to think I was. I defended his anti-Semitic jokes. I didn't find them funny, but I thought the context was important, but it's fine if others did. It was blown out of proportion and context. I was the one who made it public as I thought it was relevant to the thread. But me and my friends have dark senses of humour, so I've said it to him in private. I know my humour is edgier than others, but I think my argumentative nature doesn't help, so it spirals out of control and I make the matter worse, which I'm working on.
And despite literally saying the words, "you don't need to reply to this," Cinematic Venom then gets upset when Holly doesn't reply to him.
Holly never replied. She would later claim that I specifically said that she didn't have to, but for someone who claims to be a big advocate for mental health, I'll reiterate it to her. Anxiety cuts you off, you are distant. You want to be alone, but also you need someone at the same time. Mixed with depression, you hate yourself, but are constantly paranoid what everyone else thinks simultaneously. Of course I'd say you don't have to reply. I was in my shell. I still took the blame. I sent an apology, and you, who always respects those and wants them so badly, ignored it.
What? Okay, so because Holly is an advocate for mental health awareness, she should have been able to read your mind and know that you didn't actually mean what you said and should have responded to you anyway? That doesn't make any sense. This dude needed somebody to talk to, man. Like, it's clear that he's been on the internet for way too long. Holly would continue to publicly distance herself from Venom, saying things like, rape can't be joked about and I don't condone the N-word, yada yada. Then she starts blocking people for no reason. So instead of seeing her for the lost cause that she was and just ignore her, Venom instead chose to then publicly argue with her.
Aren't you blocking people for their opinion bothering you, then claiming it doesn't bother you, then bragging about being edgy after complaining that you were offended about certain jokes? I'm blocking people I don't know for fighting me for no reason. Blocking them doesn't bother me. Having boundaries in life isn't being edgy. It's self-care. You really want to fight over a post that is days old and has nothing to do with you. Why? Didn't you jump into a discussion that was nothing about you to argue how I was wrong about Felix? Why? Someone even replied to this to say, Rob, you can hardly remark on people jumping into topics that are nothing to do with them when you did exactly that with Change the Channel and proceeded to milk that as much as you did.
So, E-Rod did the same thing. You didn't give him shit for it. Speaking of E-Rod, Venom plays some clips of him acting like an obsessive fanboy begging to be a part of Channel Awesome and tries to make fun of him for it.
But hey, I milked it, right? Even though E-Rod was rejected from Channel Awesome, but do you think he just kept applying for 1 year and 11 months before being accepted? Nope!
So, I'm not good enough to be on your site. I understand. It's not like I'm a big fan or anything. It's not like I watch your videos every week, or it's definitely not like I bought your arduous little card game. Is me at my most masochistic. Critic, I'm your biggest fan.
He kept milking that and begging them to be on there, clearly bitter. It's so sad.
Dude, you just admitted to the entire internet that you let your own girlfriend boss you around and have to ask her permission to spend money and run your entire relationship just to prove to a bunch of random people that you're not a sexist. You have no right to start talking about how sad someone else is. Anyway, Venom and Holly would argue some more, and then it gets confusing as his friend Craig would jump in to defend him from arguments online, and this would turn into even more of a mess as Craig would continue arguing with people on Venom's behalf and prompting a lot of Change the Channel members, more noticeably Allison Pregler, to think that Craig was actually Venom.
And I clearly point out that they are now going to believe he's me. Oh, and here where he sends me another one of his tweets and I again confirm he's Crane. There was even a thread where Craig provided some screenshots I had sent him to use to deflate their arguments. Allison ignored the actual point and just further assumed he was me because he had my screenshots.
I don't know, it's confusing. So once again, thanks to miscommunication, Venom would say that he was done with Change the Channel.
After this argument died down, I just left the movement and stayed quiet. I wanted no more of this and to just move on. However, they constantly contradicted themselves and continued to lie, which we'll go over more in a second.
Only to jump back into it again when he noticed more people saying things about him. Christ, man, you really need to learn when to just ignore things and just move on, man. Some people just cannot be reasoned with. Or they just don't want to be reasoned with. So now Venom and his friend keep posting screenshots to prove that they're two entirely different people, despite nobody caring. Nobody believes them. And then another friend of his joined in and Change the Channel thought that they were also Rob.
And it was my friend Danny, the cinematic mind. Danny joined the fight to slam Change the Channel, and Holly now claimed that this person was also me. Rich pointed out the fact that it wasn't, as well as the Craig screenshots, and they didn't apologize for lying, nor did they admit that they were wrong.
Cinematic Venom and his friends keep messaging these people for some reason, using friends and alternate accounts to evade being blocked, until Venom finally just has enough of this whole thing and just blocks Holly.
After this argument, I had enough and blocked Holly.
Okay, great, we're done.
Then there was someone on Reddit, and Holly immediately assumed that they were me as well.
Spoke too soon. The argument with Holly reaches its apex after Venom rightfully points out that she's no better than how she tries to portray Channel Awesome.
So you're going to block anyone you don't know in a public forum after lambasting Channel Awesome for doing that. Refuse to apologise like Channel Awesome. Then witness E-Rod treat people like shit, and instead of telling him to stop, tell me to stop publicising it. So you allowed mistreatment like Channel Awesome. E-Rod has a sense of humour I find harsh and also don't always agree with. Where's the sense of humour in calling people idiots for opinions? Where's the sense of humour in insulting me for no reason and making me feel like shit when all I try to do is help? For you to then go ahead and defend his actions despite promoting mental health awareness. awareness. People keep DMing me about you and your opinions. People assume that because you made the doc and talk about change the channel all the time that we all agree with all of your opinions.
Well, yeah, Holly. I mean, you were the one acting like a change the channel ringleader. You confronted Venom and demanded that he apologize for things that he did in his past, and then you sent him out like he's your disciple with your blessing to continue spreading change the channel like he's a Jehovah's Witness. You literally gave Venom terms for negotiating a sit-down when you said Channel Awesome needed to apologize to you. Cinematic Venom uses your endorsement, as well as Mars Girl and Lupa and E-Rod and all of your friends, to justify his involvement with your movement. I'm sorry, but you helped create this monster. Eventually, Holly finally turns on Rob and she doubles down on disowning him, calling him racist, and then out of nowhere, E-Rod's wife Marsha then chimed in to lie and make things up about him.
I'm no longer staying silent. This CV dude used to make hate videos of E-Rod. I made one and it wasn't a hate video. In 2017, he made a video making fun of Eric's video from our first season in 2010. It was 2016, and bitching that Eric had more subscribers than him. I made the same joke in the Channel Awesome documentary that you enjoyed.
This guy has millions of subs and I don't.
And was literally judging a dude from old work with current sub count.
So what? Channel Awesome's producers make fun of old media all the time, but when it's done to you, it's wrong?
He wasn't simply just complaining about what Eric doesn't like about the movie, but he was criticizing my apartment. I never once do that. The video's still up. By all means, feel free to watch it. The website I built for Eric. This is the gag.
Let's check blockbusterbuster.angelfire.com.
And I hate it already. Badass can't even afford his own website domain name.
He's right, the site is ugly. It looks so primitive and anti-accessible. It's like something out of the 90s, and not in a good way.
She later came back with, I said I was pretty sure you'd made a derogatory comment when I was on video, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't have the stomach to rewatch.
Huh? Wait, so you're making this post about how horrible this guy is, and you don't even know if what you're talking about is even true? Oh, Jesus, what are these people?
I know, because that's how I met him. Really, that's how we met. We met through the constant hate videos I made on E-Rod. Let's look at my comments. Here's my video, Let's Talk, uploaded on April the 22nd, 2018. As you can see, this is clearly Marsha's YouTube channel. If you check the contact link, it goes straight to her Facebook, and this is the first comment from her on any of my videos. I thought they were hilarious, which is why I subscribed. I hate how people think people posted Channel Awesome videos just for views. My husband got that when he posted the video to announce he had left Channel Awesome, so no one is immune. Your husband was on Channel Awesome? Who? Sorry, I thought I said. He's E-Rod, the Blockbuster Buster. Eric didn't know this guy from Adam. They were never friends. Eric never pretended to be friends, and Eric never trusted him.
So E-Rod never trusted him, but he still kept talking to him and acting chummy with him and wrote this giant love letter praising him and thanking him for his documentary?
Then Rob started getting power hungry, eating up the fact that Eric made a video promoting his documentary, eating up all the Change the Channel people that liked it and shared it and supported it.
And whose fault is that? You guys were the one feeding this guy's ego, constantly telling him what a great job he did and thanking him for his documentary and telling him to make more anti-Channel Awesome videos and liking and sharing them. Yeah, Rob, how dare you become popular even though we literally made you popular. People are freaking insane.
Then Rob sent a message to E-Rod, saying that he talked to a friend of Brad's and could Eric get Allison to talk to this friend of Brad's. That's what upset Eric. E-Rod felt that this guy was making himself out to be a part of the Channel Awesome producers and crossed the line.
Even though that's literally what your husband did. E-Rod didn't even meet any of the former Channel Awesome producers until after he left the site.
He felt, and looking back, I agree to that. Rob was loving the attention. And he was getting in too deep because of that attention. He was putting his nose in where it didn't belong and it wasn't needed.
Again, so did your husband.
Please stop with the E-Rod hate. People are actively leaving this group because of it, nor was it wanted, and all it was doing was making the victims uncomfortable. Yet, none of you said anything, and none of you reiterated this when I asked you to your face. It wasn't wanted, but you all laughed and liked and shared all the videos when it happened and acted nice when I spoke to you privately. And hey, Kaylin even asked for more. The hashtag was resurrected, got people talking about it again, which you were all thankful for.
Yeah, he's kind of got you guys there. What else did she say? He promised he would leave us alone, yet months later he made a video telling his biased narrative. People want E-Rod's apology. He doesn't owe Rob or anything other than a slice of reality. If you Twitter people think E-Rod treated people like shit, you seriously can't take his dry humor and probably shouldn't be on social media ever. He's not funny. Didn't someone doing a response video to your husband's review of Batman Forever make you cry? If E-Rod blocked you, then you deserve it. He didn't block you for no reason, especially the scumbag that said I shouldn't have went to see The Incredibles and it's my fault I had a seizure. Grow up or go home, now you know the truth. Continue to believe what you want, but if you continue to harass my husband over a dude he doesn't even remember or know, then you have to deal with the wrath of She-Rod. Oh no, if I say something mean about this guy, his wife is going to yell at me online. You know, on the topic of Marsha Rodriguez, I have to say this was a very, very troubled woman. She would just continue to lash out and make things up for no reason at all. Like here, he's like, Venom is sending people to harass me. He wasn't doing that, like, at all. And I'm the only person who he talks about that was his friend. What? Lady, you literally called Venom an abuser and said he made up lies about your husband. And you blamed him for putting you in the hospital. but now you're the only one who was his friend. I don't I don't know, man. The relationship dynamics between E-Rod and his wife and Venom are confusing. One minute E-Rod and Rob are cool, then the next minute E-Rod's telling Rob to go screw himself, and Marsha was still fine with talking to Rob after her husband made it clear that he hates him and wants nothing to do with him, and I don't understand. These people are just so weird. And then it gets a little bit scary, because then she starts talking about suicide, and that she tried to kill herself on multiple occasions, and had manic depression and PTSD and other cognitive disorders. Like, what? Then she talks about social media exacerbating her mental health issues, yet she continues to use it for some unknowable reason. She claimed to be an abuse counselor. Lady, if you have enough self-awareness to say that social media is destroying your mental health, you should also have enough self-awareness to turn off the computer, right? I mean, the most crazy thing to me is that this woman almost divorced her husband because he was more obsessed with making videos for Channel Awesome than he was spending time with her. Yeah. Again, far be it for me to get into anybody's business, but these two, there was something wrong. They needed counseling. They needed to handle their business, privately. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be as nice as I possibly can here. I know that this woman has passed away, and I'm trying to be respectful, but this woman just wasn't right in the head. She was very sick, and she simply did not belong on the internet. She had a lot of obvious mental health issues that she needed to get worked out, and getting into arguments with random people online was not helping with that. How much of it was real? How much of it was for attention? Who knows? You decide. But I digress. After this, Holly would go on Reddit and spread Marsha's lies even further. And then E-Rod would break silence and stroke his ego just to make himself look good.
All I want to say is that I broke ties with CV over lack of professionalism. I opted to stay silent as part of an effort to show Rob the professional courtesy he never showed me. My wife, however, decided not to extend him any such courtesy. Where was I unprofessional, E-Rod? You have yet to explain this.
Well, you did kind of keep talking to his wife behind his back after he made it clear he doesn't like you.
It's also weird that they always went out and said, "We do not condone any abuse to people at Channel Awesome, please stop harassing them," but then they had no problem, all of them dogpiling me at once.
Kind of like how you joined in with them to dogpile on Brad Jones and Tamara Chambers.
Funny, hey, don't harass, I don't condone abuse, but don't dish it out if you can't take it too.
What happened between you and Eric is between you and Eric. I can't apologise for him, nor am I or Holly responsible for him. That's true, but why is it whenever a fan had a grievance against Channel Awesome, any story, small or large, you catered towards? Now there's one where you admit E-Rod was in the wrong and you wipe your hands and walk away.
He's got a point. It's funny how Allison says this, and yet she got mad at Channel Awesome for not standing up for her in the document during her beef with Spoonie. I mean, what happened between you and Spoonie was between you and Spoonie. Neither of you worked for them, so why would they be responsible for him? Gotta love the hypocrisy.
Then Obscurus Lupa gets involved saying that E-Rod was being rude, but making a video about it started too much drama. And we could literally say the same thing about her. MacLeod might have been rude, but writing a 70-page document of nonsense caused too much drama. So Allison Pregler completely washes her hands of Venom 2, saying that they were never friends and that he means nothing to her.
We're not friends. He is someone I've spoken to via tweet. Maybe Eric was right after all, because dude keeps trying to connect his personal beefs with shit that happened to us, and that's not okay. Appreciate the kind things he's said, but I'm not dying on the hill he's put us on. How did I connect my personal beef with what you went through? E-Rod tries to make it to a Comic-Con asking fans for help.
I have tried to contact them and heard nothing from them. My dad has contacted them and heard nothing from them. My grandmother, who actually knows most of the people that organize events in Puerto Rico, has talked to everybody that she knows, and nobody seems to be getting back to her.
Everyone and their dog pestered a convention and got no response, and instead of taking the hint, he asked his viewers to also harass them. That's not professional.
This is such an amazing parallel, because Venom wants to shame E-Rod for having his entire family constantly reach out to a comic convention, yet getting no response and being unable to take the hint that they don't want him there, yet he's completely ignorant to the fact that he literally did the same thing with Change the Channel. Him and his friends constantly keep reaching out and arguing with these people and feeding into drama, and he can't take the hint that they just don't like him anymore.
I should have expected this, based on how Allison replied to a simple defense. Anyone know who Obscure Looper is? Thanks for the defense, but you really didn't need to tag this to me. Has everyone in Change the Channel just purchased really tight underwear? Jesus!
Venom, it's over. The movement is finished. Your 50 minutes of fame is gone, my man. These people are not your friends. They don't like you anymore. I understand that you're upset that they turned on you, but oh well. I mean, they're jerks, they're idiots, they're stupid, they don't know what the hell they're doing, they didn't have a plan for any of this. All they want is for people to pat them on the backs for being victims, that's it. I mean, you gotta move on, man.
During this, I admitted, fine, yeah, I shouldn't have put it in the video. I deleted it, and I even messaged Marsha and apologised again, despite doing nothing wrong.
Why? Dude, you didn't even do anything wrong this time. Why are you apologizing again?
The video is deleted. Once you explained the problem, it was fine. That's kind of all I wanted, and I reacted the wrong way. Just wanted to know what I did wrong, you know? Regardless, it's gone. Take care. No response! These people want an apology so damn much, but show no respect when they get one.
Why would you even expect her to respond to you at this point? I don't... Ay, this guy. This dude, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Venom would have a complete meltdown because his fake internet friends turned on him, and he would delete his documentary and take to Twitter to disown the movement completely.
I'd just like to take the time to state that I am officially done with Change the Channel. Obviously, Channel Awesome are in the wrong, and the victims will forever have my sympathy and pity.
Man, you gotta give this guy credit. Even after the producers lied and made things up about him, he still thinks Channel Awesome are the villains here. Oh man, you can't make this stuff up.
I'm now questioning a lot of what Change the Channel has said because of these lies and manipulation. Things have been twisted and words put in my mouth. Change the Channel individuals are blocking people, refusing to apologise for outbursts and disregarding blame. Like someone else we know. I have screenshots where Marsha, Holly, Mike J, Kaylin, and via another individual, Allison, all had no idea why E-Rod had his outburst. I was insulted and discarded randomly with no explanation. Lies were then spread about me that I'm racist, taking things out of context, or that I broke a promise to Marsha, all of which isn't true and was proven with screenshots. However, there are individuals involved that have shown their lack of empathy for anyone outside of their own inner circle. Hypocrisy has been displayed, and I am deeply hurt when I only wanted to help this movement. I'm done with Change the Channel. Take care. The problem isn't that Holly, E-Rod, or Marsha spoke to me poorly, it's that I lashed back and defended myself. That's where we're at. The whole movement can go fuck itself. The documentary is gone. Peace. Instead of E-Rod learning the error of his ways, Holly defended it. He tries to justify it, and Allison has even tried to sidestep it. Change the Channel is full of shit and clearly only cares about themselves.
Yeah, I guess jumping into online high school drama defending a bunch of idiots who blame everyone but themselves for their problems will do that to you.
From someone with chronic depression, I regret helping these people. I regret making the documentary. I regret reaching out. I regret standing up to Channel Awesome. I regret my channel getting subs through it. It's not worth it, and I just hope they can live with themselves. They may not be as bad as Channel Awesome, but these scumbags have gone out of their way to hurt others, justify it, and then ignore the pain they've inflicted. They're disgusting human beings, and I am sorry I ever tried to help them. I am truly sorry. I've admitted making it public was wrong, but because someone was suicidal afterwards, which I'd have no way of knowing, it's still my fault. Yet all of Change the Channel abusing me like this has put me in a slump of depression with similar thoughts. Still my fault. Fuck you guys.
You have got to be kidding me. Venom wanted to kill himself too?
Stina, aka Cybercat, saw this post admitting that I'm now having suicidal thoughts and wanted to die, disregarded all of that, and said this. Disappointed to see you throw all of Change the Channel under the bus after having a bad run-in with like 3 people from it. I mean, there were a lot of us. Just because we all added something to a document doesn't make us all part of a hive mind. She completely ignored the fact that I was now considering killing myself. Do I need to show you my doctor records, or the copious amounts of antidepressants I have to chug to try to fix my brain? I've come to the conclusion I just don't want to be here anymore. This isn't a suicide note because like I said, I can never do that to Eric. But I'm done trying. I've been locked up alone in my flat with nothing but my thoughts to keep me company when Eric's not around. I see no point trying social groups. It will only end in more heartbreak and pain. I literally have to expose my entire personal life to prevent lies being spread about me.
Was it a requirement that you had to be a mentally unstable nutjob to be a part of this movement? I mean, seriously, Dr. Gonzo, he wanted to kill himself because Mike MacLeod ignored him. Alison Pregler, she says that she has depression just because Brad Jones didn't think the document was a big deal. Marsha worked herself into a coma and went to the hospital because someone said her husband was mean and she was struggling with suicidal thoughts. And now Cinematic Venom wants to kill himself because a bunch of people he doesn't even know are being mean to him.
I literally put out publicly that I wanted to commit suicide, and not a single member of Change the Channel DM'd me to make sure I was okay. They didn't even tweet like a reply to say, hey Rob, I hope you're okay.
What is wrong with these people? What is wrong? I don't understand. You people are all completely stark raving mad. I mean, I thought they were just being overly dramatic, but now I'm positive that there's just something wrong with all of you. You people need to get lives, get off the internet, breathe fresh air, play sports, exercise. I mean, you gotta do something. I mean, this internet mudslinging that you're doing is just not helping your mental health. Whatever. After Venom had his meltdown, Suede would reach out to Venom begging him to keep his documentary up.
Hey man, listen, I don't know what the deal is between you and E-Rod and Holly and everything else. Please don't explain it to me. It doesn't involve me and I'll only add more cooks to the kitchen. But there is one element that does involve me that I need you to understand. I'm hearing you took down the doco and are questioning change the channel. If you're disillusioned towards some of the people involved, that's between you and them, but there are a lot more people involved than just them. The document had statements from lots of people who really were hurt, including myself.
Most people need to get over themselves, Suede. People have bad working experiences all the time. You guys are not special. Welcome to the real world.
And I don't want their stories disregarded because some of the others are called into question. Do you understand? You can have some bad blood with some producers, but I promise you that the issues were real because I lived it.
You lived it? Dude, all you did was whine about Channel Awesome not letting you use Patreon and not giving you some farewell message after you left the site. You even said that you weren't directly affected by anything the site did as other people were. You didn't live through a damn thing.
This was a very fair message, and Suede was a great guy about it and made a valid point.
What do you mean? Suede just said that he didn't care about what you were going through and is only concerned about how himself and Change the Channel look. He's just as much of a jerk as everybody else, he's just more polite about it. You are really not a good judge of character, Venom.
So I deleted the thread about questioning Change the Channel and I made the documentary public again.
Venom still obeys his masters and puts his video back up despite them making him want to kill himself. I don't even know, man. I've given up trying to understand how these people's minds work.
However, despite this, I continued to get an endless amount of hate on Twitter. I couldn't keep up with the notifications, and nobody stepped in.
Then log off Twitter, go outside, go to the park, spend some time with your real-life friends. Or get some real-life friends. Go see a movie, go to the mall, go exercise. You gotta do something productive, man. Just make sure to ask your wife permission first. I mean, since she runs your entire relationship. Anyway, let's wrap this up. At this point, the damage was done, Changing the Channel was finished. Venom would finally sever ties with everybody thanks to some encouragement from Guru Larry.
Hey, cheers for the follow, dude. Sorry to hear all the abuse you've received lately, though. I know it's hard to do, but just ignore and block anyone who's getting you down. The sooner you cut out all the negative shit in your life, the happier you'll be.
Yes, listen to Larry. He is speaking sense. He's literally the only person in this entire drama who is speaking any sense.
They never wanted an apology. They just wanted a toxic environment and for everyone around them to agree. You think you know me based on what's online, that's it. That shows you are a weak-minded individual who is easily swayed. This video isn't an attempt to convince anyone. Look at me, I'm a decent person.
No, sorry Venom, but no, it is an attempt to convince people that you're a decent person. I mean, you keep derailing this entire video to try to prove what a nice guy you are, and it just reeks of a desperate need for validation. I can't be sexist. I let my girlfriend control me and tell me what to do all the time. I can't be racist. I have black friends. I can't be a homophobe. I have a gay friend and pretended to give him oral sex in one of my videos. I can't have a big ego. I collaborate with YouTubers who are much smaller than I am.
If I had an ego, would I have collaborated with people who, at the time of filming this, have 9 subscribers? 129, 198, 65, 117, 130, 349, and 74.
I'm a nice guy, really. Ugh. It's like he's trying to defend himself against these people, but is still desperate for their approval on certain issues, and it's just embarrassing.
This whole incident, these people made me want to quit doing this. This was my passion and my dream, and you made me want to say screw it and just walk away from it all for my own good. But I'm not going to let you take this away from me. I love this far too much, I love my subscribers, and I love what I do. I'm not going to apologize for who I am, and I am not going to apologize for my humor. I refuse to do that.
Dude, you've literally spent this entire video apologizing for every stupid thing that you've ever said and did, and Change the Channel told you to apologize for.
You could skip a red light and crash into me, and I would still apologize.
And that right there is your problem, my man. You are a doormat. You just let people walk all over you. Seriously, you could have a drinking game of how many times Cinematic Venom apologizes in this one video alone, and you'd probably die of alcohol poisoning within the first 5 minutes.
In the documentary, I apologized for the previously mentioned homophobic slur, but this was another thing that I said sorry over. I've apologized to Will for this, but the Twitter was too far, and I'm sorry. I dragged her into an online thing that shouldn't have been, and I'll forever apologize for that. I explained myself to Holly. She accepted my apologies, and all was good. I even reached out to a bunch of them to apologize. I just want to apologize. I just wanted to offer my deepest apologies. Firstly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've gone about it the wrong way, but I'm sorry that you're upset. However, I'm sorry for the backlash. Take care, and I'm sorry it led to this. This was wrong, and I apologize. Fourthly, I apologize. I'm sorry. It was never my intention, and I'm sorry for any backlash you received because of it. I sent an apology, and you, who always respects those and wants them so badly, ignored it. Marsha, I'm sorry that caused you to be that distressed and hurt. I'm sorry I was hurt when someone insulted me. I'm sorry I was annoyed when someone treated others like crap. And I even messaged Marsha and apologized again, despite doing nothing wrong. And I apologized to Darren publicly. I am sorry, Brad and Laura, for doubting that story. I reached out and I apologized to them deeply. I'm truly sorry for ever putting you through anything like this before. If I have, I apologize. And I am sorry I ever tried to help them. I am truly sorry. I just wanted to apologize if it came across that way. I felt bad and prompted the video before reaching out to contact her privately to apologize.
what's wrong with just saying we've learned from our mistakes and we're sorry for the past? That's okay. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, do you see now why that philosophy just doesn't always work in the real world?
The man just apologizes way too much to people who don't care about apologies. So in a nutshell, because of the arrogance and horrible attitudes of the people involved, Change the Channel's movement went nowhere and was forgotten almost instantly after it started. And then Venom came along with his documentary and revitalized the movement, causing Change the Channel to reach out to him, and that stroked his ego. They then unwittingly created a monster that got more attention out of their drama than they did. Then they got sick of his involvement and turned on him, leading him to have a meltdown and disown the movement completely, and now the movement is once again irrelevant, and this whole ordeal was a complete and utter waste of time. Just like Dr. Gonzo, Cinematic Venom made the mistake of relying on a bunch of strangers online that he didn't even know for emotional support. He was way too far content in giving a bunch of nobodies power over him, and it just made him look pathetic. I mean, he even admits that all he wanted was for the former Channel Awesome producers to like him and to be accepted.
Did I want Change the Channel to like me? Yes! I got carried away. Like, I remember I tried adding Alison Pregler on Skype at one point because she was nice to me on Twitter. I messaged E-Rod an awful lot because I wanted to be accepted.
And I have no idea why. I mean, why did you put these people on such a big pedestal, man? The former Channel Awesome producers aren't famous, they're not superstars. They're a bunch of bums who made a living leeching off of someone more successful than they were and are throwing a tantrum because they can no longer do so. Throughout this entire ordeal, he just came off as a desperate fanboy begging for attention while foolishly expecting a bunch of people he didn't even know to care about his mental health issues and his personal problems. Sorry for my lack of empathy, but I just find everybody in this movement incredibly illogical, unlikable, and obnoxious. Venom was not a good guy or a victim at all during this time. Because remember, he believed everything that these people said about Channel Awesome, and he happily joined in to defame and harass them and spread false information every time he could for views and attention. He would publicly shame Brad Jones multiple times and constantly enable Alison Pregler and get into fights with people on Twitter. I mean, this dude wants to cry about how Change the Channel doesn't care about my mental health.
But everyone at Change the Channel completely denies blame for my mental health.
Yeah, a bunch of people on the internet who I barely know aren't my psychiatrist. Who knew? And why should we care about your mental health? I mean, did you care about Brad Jones's mental health when he was getting attacked? Did you care about Tamara Chambers' mental health? No, you mocked her in a diss track. After she apologized to you, no less. In fact, you literally did the same thing you accused her of doing, blaming your actions on your anxiety. That's another drinking game we could have. Like, seriously, take a shot every single time Venom says or does something stupid and then just blames it on his anxiety.
Furthermore, my anxiety adds to my low self-esteem. Anxiety goes through the roof and you don't know how to deal with it. With anxiety, you constantly blame yourself. Anxiety cuts you off. You are distant. You want to be alone, but also you need someone at the same time. There was miscommunication and my anxiety. Again.
It's only now, when Cinematic Venom's masters have turned on him, did he finally grow a brain cell and realize that the former producers were not the idealized, unsung internet heroes that he dreamed up in his head. He hopped into cancel culture to defame people, and it backfired on him. If you ask me, the man pretty much reaped what he sowed.
I've been doing this for 12 years at this point, and this is what I'd always wanted.
So yeah, he tried to cling on to it as much as he could, but ultimately it ended up destroying him. It's sad. But to play devil's advocate, a lot of people want to criticize Venom for inserting himself into drama that had nothing to do with him and acting like he was the face of Change the Channel and making it all about himself, like he was this try-hard clout chaser using the drama for views, which is partially true. But in hindsight, Cinematic Venom was the face of Change the Channel. Because no one else was doing anything. Alison Pregler just wouldn't stop arguing online with people about Doug and Brad Jones and alienated her fans and pretty much just flushed the year's worth of goodwill she got for the community down the toilet. Linkara just made some boring audio drama and then just moved on from the whole thing. Holly Brown just gave up because she didn't get an apology, and she even admitted that this whole thing was just a distraction for her and she never really cared about it in the first place. Mars Girl didn't get any kind of closure or satisfaction from Channel Awesome at all, so she instead started another campaign called #KickVic, where she would dedicate years of her life to destroying the reputation of an anime voice actor by the name of Vic Mignogna. E-Rod, he just kept whining about nonsense stories about Doug just to stay relevant, to the point where even his own fans got sick of it, and the rest of the other producers, they pretty much just said their pieces and moved on. Venom was literally the only person who was talking about this. At one point, Holly stated that Venom should have just passed Ryan Mitchell's proposition of a sit-down between former and current Channel Awesome producers off to someone else instead of trying to handle it himself, but it wouldn't have mattered if Venom did that. For one, everyone that Venom spoke to besides E-Rod was down for this talk. Even Holly was open to a dialogue via email, as Marsgirl notes here. If you guys had issues with Venom while he was talking to people privately, then you probably should have said something at the time. Secondly, Ryan was a friend of Brad Jones. Nearly everyone on the Change the Channel team, like Linkara, Marsgirl, Allison, they all can't stand him. They made it perfectly clear that if you associate with Brad Jones or anyone at Channel Awesome, you're wrong. End of story. You really think they would have heard the guy out? Because I don't. And Holly herself said that she needed a public apology before she sat down with them at all, which was never going to happen. The company is not going to publicly admit any guilt. So, sorry, but Venom had to be the one to handle this. You guys would not have done anything with this information. Cinematic Venom, as annoying as he was literally the only person in the entire movement who was doing any real work. The documentary that he made was a hit, and it introduced many people to the controversy. It wasn't any of the ex-producers who made the official Change the Channel Discord. Venom did that, and they only reached out to him after he deleted it. He tried to get Keemstar from Drama Alert to cover the controversy. He reached out to several producers to see if they'd be willing to sit down with Channel Awesome to talk things out, and almost every producer he spoke to was fine with it. I mean, I just don't get it. Don't you guys want more people to know about this movement? I mean, Cinematic Venom was a clout chaser and had a huge ego and did keep butting into things, but he's also the only person who actually seemed to care about any of this. And no, Change the Channel producers, sorry, you guys cannot backtrack and say that you never liked this guy and act like he's some kind of a creep all of a sudden, because you all unwittingly fed the man's ego. You love this guy's videos. You guys kept liking and laughing and sharing all of his content. You guys begged people to watch his documentary.
You need to go watch that video now. For the first time ever in my internet video production career, I am begging you to do something.
You know what I think? I think they're all just upset that Venom got more attention out of this entire ordeal than they did. So where is everybody now? Well, the other Channel Awesome producers just moved on, either going back to their stagnant YouTube channels or just left the internet entirely. As for E-Rod, he would pretty much end his vendetta with Channel Awesome after his wife's passing, and he took time off to grieve. But now he's back making videos again and even wrote a fantasy book. It is sad how it took the passing of a loved one for him to stop acting like an idiot, but hopefully he was able to heal and move on, because you never know what life throws at you, man. It's just too short to get involved in nonsense like this. As for Venom himself, he claimed he was done with the movement and was no longer going to feed into drama.
I spoke to Mike, and he was right. I feed into drama, and that has to change. This is the turning point for me. I'm done. I'm focusing on myself now, and that's it. My content, my creativity.
Only to completely renege on that promise by getting involved in another controversy a year later when the YouTube channel EFAP made fun of a review that he made of Lord of the Rings.
Months passed, and then I was randomly brought up again for some reason. People brought me up, I retaliated, huge beef again. People see my reaction to the EFAP thing and they thought, what a baby. He's upset because they did a live stream. They don't think that maybe something in his personal life is also triggering this reaction.
So he jumped into their live stream, threw another temper tantrum, made a fool of himself again, realized that he was wasting his life. He would then proceed to release a 2-hour-long documentary, I'm not making a video about that, don't ask, talking about his entire life and everyone he's ever wronged and every relationship he screwed up and every sin he committed. Then he just deleted his whole channel and social media, and he left the internet not long after that. But to his credit, the story does have a happy ending, because he is back on YouTube, still making documentaries on a channel called Seeking Answers, and he has another channel called Cinematic Venom where he is still doing movie reviews, and he's doing okay. He actually did a video with EFAP. He no longer has a social media. He stays out of internet dramas. He seems far more put together mentally. At least he gained some semblance of self-awareness. And I know that he's reacted to my videos on the Channel Awesome drama, and he was nervous about what I'd say about him.
It's going to be rough when he gets to me, isn't it? I'm going to predict it right now. He's going to be like, these guys aren't your friends. You need to go outside.
I've seen them, and they were pretty funny, honestly. And Venom, if you're watching this, I just got to say, sorry for being hard on you, man, but you were a dick. And you brought a lot of this stuff on yourself. But hey, sometimes you really gotta learn a hard lesson in order to grow and change and be a new man. So I'm glad to see that you're doing better. Glad to see that you're enjoying my stuff. And just for you, Venom, just for you, since this apparently means so much to you, I'm just going to go ahead and reach over to my camera here to turn it off. Since, I don't know, apparently that means so much to you, the way I bend my videos, but whatever. Just for you, just to make you feel good. Okay, man? Here we go.
You know what? I want you all to look at me. I want you all to look at me. I want you to... Because what I'm about to say is important, I think. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. And I want y'all to know this. This goes out to everybody. You're not stupid. Okay? You're not stupid. Don't ever tell yourself that you are. You're important. Well, you have